How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Two Bros Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Smith, and I'm here with my brother and co-host, Dakota Smith. How are you doing tonight, Dakota?
Well, good. It's Saturday. K-State won. And
Yeah.
as of this recording right now, Georgia is losing to Mizzou. So if that holds, college football is going to be turned upon its head, but that's not what we're here to talk about tonight.
Yeah, definitely some upsets been going on in college football this season. It's been good so far. Um, but today's episode's over the NBA, and um, starting off, we've been doing the six divisions over the next few weeks. And this is the second division. We're going to the East this time. We're going to stagger back and forth. And we're going to go to the Atlantic Division. So that would include Boston, Brooklyn, New York, Philadelphia, and the Toronto Raptors. Um, Four teams in the playoffs last season in this division. Initial thoughts on the division this season?
I think this could be probably one of the most, if not the most competitive division in the NBA. From top to bottom, there's not a weak team in this division. Like there's not a lottery pick team in this division. Like four teams over 500. The Knicks finished 37-45, which is not atrocious. Like that was better than the 8 seed in the West. So, and they didn't even get the 10 in the East. So, and they added a very important piece, which we'll talk about later. But I think top to bottom, this is a really good division. Philly's strong. Brooklyn's a big wait and see how they're going to mesh with
Yep.
with those three, and then what do you expect from the defending runner-ups?
Yeah. So starting off, we're gonna go straight to the Boston Celtics. In the NBA Finals last year, losing to the Warriors, had a great playoff run. The key people obviously that pop out: Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, but new addition, who I think is going to be a huge piece to this team, and that's Malcolm Brogdon. I think he's going to be extremely important. I think he'll start. I don't. I could see them putting Marcus Smart maybe at the 2 this year. I think. I mean, you can't just sit the DPOY. So, or somebody in that race. I mean, so I think Marcus Smart will go to the 2. I like the makeup of the Celtics. Basically the same team. Just signed Blake Griffin for a 1-year deal. We'll see how if that helps them at all. Which I mean, that's veteran leadership there. I like Grant Williams. I like Robert Williams. Derek White had his moments last year in the playoffs specifically. So I think the Celtics are going to be very, very good this year once again.
Yeah, Robert Williams 8 days ago had knee surgery, and it was 8 to 12-week recovery. I'm not sure what the math is on that, but that sounds like he's going to be out for at least the first maybe couple of weeks, if not longer than that, to start the regular season. So that's going to be a big hit. Do you think they just run Horford at the 5 and just play small at that point?
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I really like Al Horford too. He obviously had moments, especially in game 1, but yeah, I think they can definitely go small ball.
Yeah, and then I want to see how this looks without Ime Udoka as the head coach. We won't go into big details about that, but Ime Udoka was suspended for the whole year. And I'm really interested to see what they're going to look like without him as the head coach. Whether that changes I don't think it's going to change a whole lot. It probably will a little bit in game, stuff like that, because an assistant coach hasn't been a head coach. So at least at the NBA level, I don't know who the assistant is. I'd actually have to look that up, who the assistant is.
I believe it's Joe Mazzulla. That's what it has here at the bottom of their roster. So
okay.
Yeah. That I think it's gonna hurt them more than anything this year, actually. I think Udoka's a great coach. I think he proved that last year. And I think that's gonna be a huge loss for them.
Yeah, I do too. Mazzulla started out as an assistant for the Celtics in 2019. So he's been there. He's been around for what is that? Be his fourth year now with the Celtics, so he's there. So, and he played at West Virginia. Just a little background on him, but I think I think this is going to be a good team, but I think this is going to be it's probably going to be the toughest division to win, I think, because just of the depth every team has.
Yeah, I think this division and the one we actually talked about last episode in the first NBA episode in the Pacific, I think the two outside the Kings are going to be the two divisions that are going to be an absolute dogfight to win the division title.
Because I think you could see 4 teams from this division again in the playoffs, and I don't think that's a stretch at all. I think that's very possible. Like you just look at the way the East is set up. I mean, Milwaukee probably going to win that division. Miami, like Chicago is going to be good again, depending on when they get Lonzo back. But they were the 2, 4, the 5, and the 7. If you go back to the old playoff format, if you just base it off of that, they had 4 legit playoff teams. Obviously, Brooklyn had to play that play in to get in.
Yeah.
But
well, is it possible? Can you have 5 teams, a whole division in the playoffs? Is that a thing?
With 10 teams getting in the playoffs now, I could very much see that happening.
I just didn't even know if the NBA would allow it.
I don't think
one team at the bottom.
Okay, you expect Orlando to be not great again. Washington's meh. Detroit should take another step. I don't think they're quite there yet. I think Indiana might be atrocious. They've traded away everybody. They got rid of Sabonis and Brogdon. Those were their 2 best players to start the year last year. So those 2 are gone. So Cleveland will be all right. Actually, they got Donovan Mitchell now. So that'll be I think Cleveland will be a fun team to watch. But like you said, it's the Atlantic. 5 teams is a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Celtics. I'm going to assume the starting lineup will be, in my opinion, if I was the coach, I would definitely go Malcolm Brogdon. I'd go Smart. I'd then go Jaylen Brown. I'd go Jason Tatum. And then I'd go Robert Williams. And I think that is a very strong starting 5.
Okay. So starting the year, though, it looks like Williams is going to be out. That's a 2-month injury. That happened 8 days ago.
Robert Williams or Grant Williams?
No, Robert Williams is out for.
Okay, I thought it was Grant Williams.
Robert Williams had knee surgery, so it's 2 to 3 months. That happened into September.
Yeah.
Earliest he'll be back is November, if I'm doing that math right.
It'll be earlier in the season.
Yeah, it'll be November, December when he comes back. So
yep.
I mean, that's still a good chunk where you're missing your anchor on defense, your rim protector. Because they don't really have a whole lot behind him defensively at the center position. I mean, Horford's fine, but he's only 6'9".
Yeah, exactly. And Jokic is cooking that. So
yeah,
there's a lot of big. Embiid is going to destroy them.
Yeah, Embiid will have a field day. The Nets, with all the guys they have that like to get to the rim, will have a field day.
Yep. Yeah. The Celtics are looking to be a very strong team again. I mean, I didn't expect anything different, even without the Malcolm Brogdon piece coming in this offseason. I still think they would have been a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. I still think they would have been really good. But moving up to the next team is the Brooklyn Nets, and this is the team with all the questions in the world. Obviously, Kyrie with all the stuff last season. As an NBA fan, we all are going to try to just put it behind us this year, I think, and focus and see what he does. Judge him based on what he does this season. I think everybody needs to leave it in the past. Let's move forward. Let's let Kyrie Irving play basketball. He is a player I would not mind see winning MVP this season. I want Kyrie to win MVP.
That's a bold take, but
do I think he will?
The guy who probably should be the favorite to win the MVP is also on this team. Well, one of the favorites, because I'm not going to say the favorite because Giannis Antetokounmpo and Nikola Jokic exist, but Kevin Durant I think he's just primed to go nuts.
Yeah,
You have,
yeah, I agree.
I, I'm very, very intrigued to see what Ben Simmons looks like in this offense. All right.
Playmaker.
How long has it been since we've seen Ben Simmons in an NBA game? Like, I don't even.
Wow.
A while might be an understatement.
But
If you want,
I want to see him do good too. I really like Ben Simmons. I understand he can't shoot, but I love his tenacity on defense. I love he can guard 1 through 5. If he gets to the rim, it's a bucket. I mean, well, if he shoots it, that is. And then I actually really like the Nets. I hope they can put their pieces together. Like I said, I want to. I wouldn't mind see Kyrie Irving winning MVP. Do I think it'll happen? No, probably not. But it'd be one heck of a comeback story if he did. And the only thing that I have with the Nets at the moment is depth.
yep.
Depth is the one question I have about this Brooklyn team.
I mean, Markieff Morris, Royce O'Neal, Patty Mills.
I mean, Cam Thomas is a scorer, so
Yeah.
to come off the bench.
It's been 15 months since Ben Simmons has played. Ben
That's
Simmons has
insane.
played in a basketball game.
That is ridiculous.
That is. But can he shoot now? I don't know. We haven't seen anything. Did he learn to shoot
Probably
in 15
not.
months? Probably not.
Probably
You're
not.
probably right, but
I'm looking at the depth here. I mean, so what the starting lineup? What would you think? We'd probably go. You'd go Kyrie. You'd go Seth Curry.
I think you go Seth Curry.
Then you'd go probably Joe Harris. Then you probably play KD at the 4, and then you go Nicholas Claxton.
Did you forget about Ben Simmons?
Oh yeah. No, you played. Yeah, I forgot about him. Sorry, he hasn't played in so long. So you'd go KD at the 3, Ben Simmons at the 4, and then probably Claxton at the 5. They only have one center on the
Like,
roster.
well, Daron Sharp's on there. He's only 6'9", though. Yeah, I think Claxton starts at the 5. I think this is a team that goes small a lot.
They're gonna have to.
I think you could see a lot of Durant Simmons 4-5, where they just go positionless at that point. Like, you could see a lineup with Kyrie, Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Durant Simmons.
Yeah.
Where they just go small, even though Simmons is 6'11".
Simmons is 6'11 and
6'11.
7 foot.
TJ Warren's on this team too. I did not.
Yeah, if he goes bubble Warren mode, then that's a dangerous piece off the bench, but it's not in the bubble. So
I actually could see Royce O'Neal starting for defensive purposes.
yeah,
I think you can put him at the 3. You could go
he's only 6'5".
Yeah, you can go Kyrie, Seth, not Steph, Seth Curry. That would we won't even get into super teams at that point. But then you go O'Neal, Durant, Simmons, and I think that's going to be a 5 they run a lot.
Yeah.
I could also see that not being Seth Curry and Royce O'Neal being the starter too.
Yeah, at the 2.
Just for defense, like
just
as a defensive guy, because that's what he was in Utah, and they traded for him. So they can move.
You can't. I don't even know if you can talk too much about look too much into the defense of this team, because Kevin Durant can guard 1 through 5. Nicholas Claxton's a decent defender. Then you got Royce O'Neal. Ben Simmons can guard 1 through 5. You know, Markieff Morris likes to play defense. So I don't know. I like the makeup. I think they're a little bit more deep than what I thought coming into this podcast, but I don't know.
No, I think this is going to be a good team. I think the ceiling on this team is as high as it gets.
It's a championship.
Yeah, this team should win. This is a team built to win a championship, and that window is closing. Durant's 34, Kyrie's 31. I mean, Simmons is younger than I thought he was. He's just been hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I like this Brooklyn team. I think they're going to be, like I said, they're going to be a great team. Like, I find it hard to believe that any of the teams in this division are going to be bad.
Yeah. Well, I have this Kevin Durant quote here. and he was responding to the conversations around the Nets offseason. It's on Bleacher Report. And he said, drama sells. I get that, but I didn't miss any games. I don't know how you look into this. I don't know if this is like supposed to be. I didn't look much into it, but when I first saw it earlier, I'm assuming this is from a press conference on Media Day. And I don't know if it's a shot at his team to, hey, play this season or get out. Because like you said a second ago, the window is closing. Kevin Durant's not just going to fall off a cliff. Neither will Kyrie. But like the window of this team's closing because Kevin Durant and Kyrie are going to want their money too.
Mm-hmm.
And so's Ben Simmons. So we'll have to see how Brooklyn can do this year. But obviously, ceilings through the roof. They can be amazing.
Absolutely.
So moving on into the New York Knicks. Last year, I underperformed, I would say, compared to the year before. You've got your man. You got Jalen Brunson. I don't know if that's what everybody wanted. A lot of people probably wanted someone else, but Jalen Brunson's here, and he's probably very much ready to go and get started in New York.
Can he be that guy though? Can he be that? I very much question whether he can be that guy or not. Do I want him to be? Yes, but he had the benefit of playing with one of the best players on the planet in Dallas.
Yep.
So he was able to be the guy when Luka was out. But can you? And that was just in sports though. Like, can you be that guy for 82 games and then in the playoffs? I mean, I like the buildup of this team though. Like this team's really young. Like outside of Derrick Rose, this team is young.
Yeah, I actually really like the look of this team. I get Jalen Brunson's he's not Kyrie Irving, he's not Steph Curry, he's not Lillard, but this is a very good all around team that I want to say actually has pretty decent depth. Like a starting lineup, I'm gonna assume it's gonna be Brunson. It's gonna be it's gonna be Barrett and Fournier.
That's what they went with a lot last year was Barrett
Fournier. I was just looking down here at Emmanuel quickly, and you got Cam Reddish now. You got Derrick Rose come off the bench because then at power forward, you're going to go Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. So I would assume it's going to be Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, Evan Fournier, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson.
And that second team for them is good too.
Actually pretty decent.
Rose, Quickly, Grimes, Toppin, and then Hartenstein, who they got they came over from the Clippers. So great depth again. Like there's lottery picks all over this team. Now the question is, can they actually make something of it? They're the Knicks. They're known for not doing that. But is it about time that the Knicks break through that ceiling and finally do something?
Yeah. I want to see Julius Randle get back to what he was 2 seasons ago.
Agreed.
I mean, he had a down year last year. And now that he has Jalen Brunson, I get it again. He's not no superstar, but he's an all-star. He's a baller. He can hoop. He can score the rock. But I think this team is really good all around. And I think they'll make the playoffs. And it'll probably have to be through the play-in, though.
I think
the rest of these.
I think they're either the 4th or the 5th team in this division. I think the top 3 in this division is pretty clear cut. The order is what's different. I think it's Boston, Brooklyn, and Philly, not in that order. I'll give you the order at the end. Stay tuned for that. But I think they're probably the 4 or the 5 in this division. It's a toss-up between them and Toronto, but I think both those teams are going to be good. I don't think that all these teams are going to be, I think, close to or over 500.
Yes.
And I think it'll be the Knicks or the Raptors that flirt with flirt the closest with 500. So, but top to bottom, they're good. They're going to be really good. The young talent is amazing. Barrett's 22. Brunson's only 26. Quickly 23. Reddish 23. Obi Toppin's still on this team. He's 24. There's a lot of young. Hartenstein's 24. Fournier's only 29. Randall's 27. Like, they've got time to build this team.
They definitely do.
I just wish they had, and this is supposed to be who Jalen Brunson is, that guy who's going to go get you a bucket when you need it the most. Like, who's that guy going to be? It's supposed to be Jalen Brunson. Or is this the time where RJ Barrett finally is what he was drafted to be? Because he was drafted to be the guy. Like, he was supposed to be the dude. He was a 3rd overall pick in 2019. Time to start showing you're the 3rd overall pick. Trying to remember who 1 and 2 were in that draft. But no, I think Zion Williamson and John Morant. Yes, that was that draft.
Yeah,
if you were looking it up too, but yeah, Zion, that was the Zion draft. That was Zion and Ja. So definitely not living up to those two. Well, one of them at least. The other one doesn't play. But okay, Darius Garland went 5. DeAndre Hunter went 4. I mean, if you look at this right now, he probably actually was the good 3 at this point, unless you go with Garland. Like, they have the 3 pick and the 10 pick from that draft, because Cam Reddish went 10. That's crazy to think that Duke had 3 players on their roster go in the top 10, and that team did not win a national championship.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't hear you like 90% of the time because I was having technical difficulties.
Oh, well.
I'm good now. It kept switching my microphone back and forth, but we're back. We're good.
Okay. I thought I was hearing some funky stuff in my ears.
Yeah, I just assume you're talking about the draft class. So hopefully that's not in the recording. If so, I'm very sorry. Don't really know what happened. So
it's okay.
But yeah, no, they have a lot of young talent on this team. Like, a lot. And they have, like you mentioned earlier, they have time. They have time to sign somebody else if Jalen Brunson doesn't work out, because like we've said, it's kind of a toss-up. It's whether or not he can average 26, 27 a night with Julius Randle averaging like 20. So
I want him to, though. Like, I want him to really bad.
Yeah.
Because he was so good at Villanova, and he's been so consistent for Dallas. I just don't know if he's that guy. Like, prove everybody wrong, because there's a lot of people who don't think he's the guy.
Yeah.
They gave him an absurd amount of money. I thought he was going to get a lot of money, but it's like, there's a possibility he could just stay in Dallas, and then that Mavericks backcourt is unreal with Brunson and Doncic. But he did not stay.
Yeah. The New York Knicks, I think it's an underdog type of team this season to look out for. I think it's a team that, if they get the right matchup, I think, assuming they get in the playoffs and through the play-in, if they get the right matchup, they can definitely cause an upset in the playoffs and get out of the first round. So moving forward to the next team, the 4th team in this division, the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I think the biggest question mark on this whole entire roster is the man who supposedly lost weight.
Oh, he looks like he lost weight.
I think it's James Harden, and it does look like he did.
Oh, he looks like he's lost weight. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight.
He looks like the James Harden from Houston, and that is scary. If he is the James Harden from Houston, this team is extremely dangerous. I think extremely dangerous.
Outside, I think your Eastern Conference Finals is Milwaukee, Philadelphia.
Yes.
Spoiler alert for whenever we do that, I think that's probably what it's going to be. But this team's so good.
It's
like Embiid, Harden, Harris, Maxey, and you just run up and down. There ain't a weak spot on this roster. I don't think that their bench is questionable. I'll say that. how good their guard depth is fine. Shake Milton's fine. D'Anthony Melton, fine.
Yeah. Matisse Thybulle.
Matisse Thybulle for defense. He's a great defender.
Jade.
He can't shoot a lick, but he's a great defender.
Yeah.
They
Jaden
signed
Springer's there.
PJ Tucker's on this team now.
I was gonna get to that. I think one of the most like quiet, not expensive signings of the summer is that man right there. I think PJ Tucker is, I get he's ancient, he's 37, but if he can be what he was for Miami and what he was for the Bucks, if he can be that defensive guy just coming off the bench to guard someone and just get into people's heads and and take some, some weight off of like the likes of Tobias Harris, the likes of Matisse Thybulle, and Embiid in the paint. I mean, Harden doesn't play defense. I don't care what the steal stat is. But so I think that's a very good signing for Philadelphia, actually.
Does he start? Do you think he starts?
No. Purely because I think it'll be Maxey, who, by the way, played amazing last year. He had a huge season. I think it's Maxey. I think it's Harden. I think it's probably Matisse Thybulle for defensive purposes. And then I think it's Tobias, and I think it's Embiid. And I think this team is a lot better than what I thought it was. I didn't think they had as much depth as what.
Yeah, they're deep. They're deep.
It's just a bunch of role players. But if those role players can accept what their job is and do their job, this is a dangerous team. And if James Harden starts averaging 30 again, it's over. I don't even know if anybody in the league can beat him. If James Harden averages 30 like he did in Houston,
I think this is a 55-60 win team.
Yes.
I think, and I'm leaning more towards the 60 plus for this team. This team should win 60. And that's saying a lot. Like, this team is really good. Like, this team is NBA championship caliber. But I think that we talked with Brooklyn. They're built for this, though. This team was built for this year. Like, there you go. I think this is put up or shut up now for Philadelphia. I think this is time to win your championship.
Yep. It definitely is.
The Philly fans have trusted the process long enough. Time to finish the process and win the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all Philly fans would take one and they'd be very happy. I don't think they need 3 in a row.
No.
But man, they have Montrezl Harrell too. I just saw that's a good piece off the bench. Well, moving on to the 5th and final team. Oh, Canada. The Toronto Raptors. This team is young. There is one person. It's just like the Kings. There's one person over 30. It's Thaddeus Young. He's 34. And they have Kim Birch, who's 30, who probably won't even play. So I like the look of this team.
I do too.
I really do. Defensively, this is a defensive powerhouse team. Precious, amazing. I love him here already. I love him here already.
And you got OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam. They did sign Otto Porter from Golden State. And I love Fred VanVleet. Not just because I'm a Kansas guy, but because I love Fred VanVleet. He was that undrafted free agent who wasn't supposed to be anything, and now he's the leader of the Toronto Raptors after Kyle Lowry left. Like, this team should be really good too. Like, up and down. Like you said, this team should be really, really good defensively. Like, this team's gonna hang their hat on the defensive end. It's gonna be tough to score on this team. Like,
yeah, they have got some wing defenders, to say the least.
So I'm just gonna rattle it off real quick. VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have to go small, like really small. They don't have a true center on this team. Kim Birch is 6'9". There's no other center on the roster. And either
Yeah.
way, I think going small ball might be their best bet.
Achua is only 6'8", so you're not doing much else. Like
Yeah.
Achua was their started played center last year, and he's only 6'8". Like this team's going to be small, but while they're small, Anunoby 6'7", Barnes 6'7", Siakam 6'8", like there's still some length there too. So, I mean, I'm really excited about Toronto. Like I said, they're just. It's all about whether or not you can get to the top of this division because this division is so good.
Completely forgot Precious played last year in Toronto.
I also wanted to double check, but yeah, Scotty Barnes was the rookie of the year last year, in case anybody forgot. In that crazy year, Scotty Barnes was rookie of the year.
Yeah, and he's him in 2K, by the way.
No, I haven't.
It's ridiculous.
I'm busy. I don't have time to do that yet.
Also, I want to point out if Juancho Herman Gomez plays anything like Bo Cruz, put a ring on the finger. I'm sorry, but if he plays like Bo Cruz, if nobody knows what I'm talking about, it's the movie Hustle. I highly recommend it. It's an amazing movie. But Juancho Herman Gomez was Bo Cruz in that movie, and if he plays anything like that, bro, just give him the rings now. It'll be over.
All right. Well, sorry to interrupt you. To further update, Georgia trailing Missouri 19-12 going into the fourth quarter. Good gosh, that's awful. Sorry to interrupt the NBA talk, but that's going on right as we're talking. So, but God, just scrolling through the rosters of every team in this division. Goodness gracious, this division is going to be brutal. These teams are going to beat up on each other. The fact that you have to play, what is it?
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this now. And when we get to predictions of standings, like a week before the season, whatever it may be, I might have all 5 of these teams in the playoffs.
I think we're gonna talk through, and I'm gonna end up maybe not having one of them. I just don't know which one it is yet, because I'm still flip-flop. We're about to do our standings predictions for this division, and I still don't know who my 4 and 5 are.
It's gonna be
okay. Yeah,
well,
I like Toronto. I like this whole division. Like everybody in this division should be good.
Yeah, I agree. This is a very competitive division. It's one to look out for next season. That's for sure. All these teams with playoff potential. Ceiling's high for all the teams. I mean, some higher, 3 of them higher than the other 2, but that doesn't matter. I mean, Toronto, New York, they can make a playoff run if they get the right matchups. They really can. I really do think
there's 3 championship caliber teams in this division.
Yes. Yep.
So, all right, you want me to go first? I think you went first last time. So
yeah, I went first last time. Go ahead.
I'll go first this time. Okay, Philly, Brooklyn, Boston, Toronto, New York.
Well, I'm gonna go. It's gonna be pretty close to the same, but I'm gonna go Philly, Boston, Brooklyn, New York, and Toronto. The 4 and 5 is such a toss up. I think this whole division's a toss up. I think it is. When we get to our Eastern Conference standings and predictions for who make playoffs, etc., I'm gonna have a really hard time in the Eastern Conference. I think in both conferences, honestly. I think the NBA is at one of the highest levels it's ever been. If I'm being honest, I think it's at one of the highest levels from a talent standpoint. Like you we're gonna say top to bottom. I think it is at nearly, if not its peak.
Yeah, and I think you should expect big things out of this draft class. I think Paolo's going to be good.
Yep.
I think Chet's going to be good, even though he's not going to play this year. Very sad day. We'll talk about more of that when we get to that division.
Very unfortunate.
But I just think it's gonna be a grind. This is gonna be a tough 82 games for everybody. I think the cream's really gonna rise to the top this year.
Yep.
And so
yeah, I completely agree. This is gonna be a very, very tough division. All year long, it's gonna be competitive. Each of these teams will face each other 4 times, I believe, right?
Yeah, you play 16 games against these 4 teams combined.
And those are going to be some very competitive 16 games.
Yes, they are. Those are going to be fun games to watch.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for today's episode of the NBA, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your day and week. We hope to have you join us next time on the Two Bros Sports Podcast. With that being said, I am your host, Hunter Smith, and goodbye.